Earlier this week, me and my wife were talking about a concept that she had learned, and even I was slightly aware of it, which talks about how uh, penguins stay connected with each other, or like just show how they care for someone they love. It's called pebbling, where um, they would collect a rock or a pebble and then put it uh, next to the person they like or care for, and that's the one of the ways to just show they're thinking about them, they like them. And again, like I've not dived deep into it, but it's an interesting concept, right? And people have drawn parallels between how penguins show affection to each other, and how um, we all share like show affection, where we are just sharing reels on Instagram, TikTok, or anywhere else you're just consuming your media, right? So uh, that was an interesting concept when I was thinking about it, and how uh, this sharing of memes or reels with each other has become one of the ways of, or like these micro interactions have become a way where people just find a way to stay in touch, right? Or just show that, hey, I'm thinking about you. And you're talking about this because, as I'd mentioned in past, uh, in the past 6 months, I've like paused my social media use to quite an extent. Like I would say I'm away from it 99% of the time. So uh, it's a phase where I feel like my actions have taken away an opportunity from me to experience that pebbling, right? Like where me and my friends were just constantly sharing, uh, not constantly, but quite more often than not, just sharing something that we found funny, or just we found relevant to our situations and whatnot. So uh, that is what we were our discussions were focused on, where she was talking about how her mom sends her a lot of things, and then many a time she does not even get a chance to look at it, but it's just something like pebbling, right? Where it's one of her ways to show that, hey, I was thinking about you. I was just thinking about this, like ever since I hit pause on my social media use, there has been a big um, what do you say? Uh, I you feel more disconnected than before, right? Like if you add something else on top of it, something like having a busier career, where there is a constant demand for your time, and then if you add parenting to it, you're already running on fumes there. Like there is always more your kids need from you than what you can provide, and in between all of that, like your friendships take a back seat. Like I sometimes think of a time when I was in college or grad school. We had WhatsApp. Um, uh, we had WhatsApp groups for our batch, and then many times you would just have to put those on mute, just because like there is just constant chatter all the time, right? And now we have moved to a place where if there is too much chatter, people just leave. They're like, I don't have time for this, right? Like it has just become and you don't even have it like uh, what it was and what it has become completely different. Like everyone's priorities are so much different, and again, sometimes these radio silences feel more intentional, but more than that, I just feel like it's just a weird phase where we are, where um, it becomes very difficult to spend or have those sort of meaningful conversations and connections all the time with as many people you knew back in the time, to where now it's like uh, those conversations have dried up. I've even spoken to people where they just feel like they're getting alienated for where they are, um, I don't know how true that is, but um, yeah, no, it's just an interesting phase where um, we all are just going through places where the only way we stay in touch is just those small interaction, but um, the the challenge you see is like with those micro interactions, you feel like you have uh, connected to them, but it doesn't feel deeper anymore. Like it just feels very surface level. um Being in touch with someone, and that's one of the things which I have struggled with. There's one thing where you're pausing your social media use, where everyone and their like mother these days, right? Like social media used to be a place where, at least when we were using it, was just us, and now our parents and like their generation is coming along, and they're like, okay, cool, even they are there, right? But um, uh, if you pause back from that doom scrolling and try to minimize that, you miss out on those interaction. You miss out on the smaller moments, on being updated. There's just constant FOMO, or that fear of missing out. And then there's also the need for something deeper or slightly more meaningful conversation than just like, hey, funny, something funny, another thing. So it's interesting how, like with time, how the friendships change. Where uh, the and again, like it just could be true for me, and not something which everyone is probably going through. Like where like a lot of those conversations and interactions feel very surface level, and if you add distance on top of it, it just becomes more difficult to stay connected with people that you love. But luckily, I've noticed like at least with few folks, I have been able to connect, connect to them, or I myself go out there and try to connect with them, because that's that's one way to stay connected. But yeah, that's this topic has been something which I've been thinking about for a while, where like how our friendships have changed over time, and like um, while those reels are not the best, but again, it's just still better than total radio silence sometimes. And then um, just looking for some deeper conversation or connection with our friends, which with over time, which one of the things which I'm thinking of developing, and I'm actively working on. But yeah, you miss out on those smaller instances where you can keep in touch. So yeah, that is pretty much what I had on my mind for this session. So as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.